We're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye.
Welcome to the party, pal.
There's a rule. There's a tradition that says I have to kiss this girl on the lips.
This is Christmas.
Come to the coast. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
When Santa squeezes his fat white ass down that chimney tonight, he's gonna find the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
So that's that.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty good there.
Thank you. What do you? Can you name all the? How's your Christmas movie?
Oh,
knowledge?
not good, but recognize everything. But I couldn't break it
Couldn't
down
quite
and name
place
it
it.
for you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it'd take me a while.
Yeah, fair enough. We tried to quiz the first podcast today, and we were having answers like Spy Kids 2, and it was.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the actual movies, but what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Yeah, that's what we've been asking.
Favorite Christmas movie? Oh, that's a tricky one. You know, I think I got to go with some of the classics, like Elf. I love that movie.
Yeah.
And then just any of those really old time classics, like the Frosty the Snowman, like the old cartoons.
That's a good one.
I really enjoy those old classics. The new ones are great, and they have a lot of different, I'll say, pizzazz to them, but those old ones, nothing like them.
That's so true.
With the rotating background of like 3 scenes, just going back and forth over and over. And
you get old enough to realize, like, hey, wait a minute, they're just walking across the same thing.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Awesome.
Yeah, those. Well, cheers, boys.
Yeah,
by the
cheers.
way.
Cheers.
Thanks, Kieran.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Thanks for bringing this.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's pretty good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's nice Scotch. I haven't had Scotch in a long time.
Shout out
To
Glenlivet.
Glenlivet.
Glen-
That's good,
Glenlivet.
Good brand.
There you go.
yeah.
Are you-
Good bring it in for Christmas?
Yeah, that was really nice of you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
and
you.
only guest who brought us something. So,
Oh, jeez.
props to you. We appreciate
Save
that.
the best for last. I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. Exactly. As they say. So, excellent.
I think 2 girls are gonna jump on
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
they anytime we say anything like a little, they're like, "What about us?"
They
Anyways.
brought like Baileys.
Oh wait, sorry. Yeah, that's a
brought
lie.
this
They brought
tree.
Bailey's
Okay,
and the tree.
fair enough.
So
They brought the tree too.
I
so.
debated the Baileys too for the coffee and Baileys, but
Yeah.
then I got to bring coffees, and I
Yeah.
got to make
Yeah.
sure everything's hot.
3 p.m.
3
Yeah.
p.m. A little late for coffee.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Are you much of a Scotch guy or just special occasions?
Yeah, no, I now it's more of a special occasion,
Mhm.
but when I was training, playing hockey,
Yeah.
I was drinking lots of Scotch because you don't really put any pop in it, you don't put anything in it, you just drink it straight, so it just kind of gave
Yeah.
me a drink without all the
Not
extra
too many
calories.
extras. Yeah.
That's so true.
That's
man.
true. There's something to that for sure.
Yeah,
So,
because and even there, like when I have a Scotch too, I'm usually sipping it, and I'll sip a glass, 2 glasses, as opposed to, 4 or 5
Bunch of
Ryan
beers
Cokes
or
and
Yeah,
Reds and
exactly.
Cokes
4 or
or
5 beers, and
Yeah.
stuff that goes down a little easier. This forces you
Yeah.
to take your time.
3/4 of a wild turkey bottle.
Yeah, that's what that's apparently what our last guest Adam got into last night.
oh,
So,
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
He comes home last night. Oh man, he didn't know what planet he was on.
Yeah.
And have you moved into Candy Cane Lane?
We're in Candy Cane Lane
We're
now.
right there.
So there's the horse-drawn carriages and stuff going
I
around
heard.
right now.
I heard.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's a pretty good time.
Yep.
Can't park on the main street
No.
or anything. So
That would actually be so annoying for living on there. We had a friend who lived on Candy Cane Lane growing up, but
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. But your guest parking is
nothing.
shot. So,
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
on Christmas Day when you're gonna be like, I want family over.
Yeah.
all right, guys, park 3 blocks that way,
Park
2
in the
blocks that way.
service road.
Just take an
Yeah.
Uber over and
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have
So-
it ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of funny because there are definitely some houses that went all out this year.
Mm-hmm.
There are some houses that are just like, I don't want to fucking live on this street.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
Kind of
if you
mailing
didn't-
it in.
If you didn't know too, you came here from somewhere else and you move in, you're like, this is a great neighborhood.
Yeah. Like, hey, why is everyone so into Christmas around
yeah,
here?
houses are a little bit cheaper on Candy Cane Lane actually, just because
Comparatively to the rest of the
For
neighborhood.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to spend the extra cash on lights and decorations and
Oh, yeah,
getting
yeah.
it souped up.
But
Yeah.
now, Dylan was telling us they give some sort of rebate on power or something.
You get
What's
like
the deal?
half your power bill or something covered for the month of December,
That's not bad, actually.
which is not bad. Yeah.
That's
Incentive to
pretty good.
leave
Yeah,
the
try to
lights
make
on.
it
Yeah.
make people participate. So
Yeah. We're one of the saddest houses straight down.
You got to pick it up here, Blaze.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, our
Seriously.
Frosty is dead.
Oh no! What happened? Did the motor break or something, or
I
what?
have no idea. We don't have a tent peg, so he just keeps.
Oh, blowing away or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
He's in the middle of the
Wild,
street.
wacky, inflatable.
Arm flailing tubing. Yeah, that's exactly it. What do you go to Candy Cane Lane ever much? No.
No, I haven't been in a while. When
Okay.
I was a kid, I would go all the time,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
as I've kind of gotten older, I've gone when I've been dating a girl with kids.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
Then they
There
want to
you go.
go, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm like I'll go. So the last time was maybe a few years
Okay.
ago.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go check it out. I actually went to Glow Edmonton this year.
How was
Oh yeah.
that?
How was that?
Pretty cool.
They moved it, right? Like it's
From the Enjoy Center to the Shaw, or sorry, not to the Shaw.
Expo Center, right?
Expo Center.
Yeah, okay.
And
just
I
because
say-
it's that much bigger, I guess.
I guess so. And I mean, joke is on me because I drove to the Shaw, walked up to the doors. Doors were locked, and I was like, "Why can't I get in here?" And it said the Expo Center on the ticket. So,
Whoops.
but yeah, really cool. They had the lights of I think 7 different countries. So, like China, they had India,
Really?
France, and a couple others.
like
and
like people from those countries come and do them, or
I doubt it.
is it just kind of
Maybe?
in their style? I
Like
don't-
just in their style. Like they had like
Okay.
the London Bridge.
oh,
And then they
gotcha.
had
okay.
the
Yeah.
Eiffel Tower and some
Interesting.
temples and
Yeah.
different things.
Nice.
And
Huh.
it was cool. Like it was a fun date night and a fun night to just go hang out and enjoy it. You can buy those light bulb drinks.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
light up.
Everyone
and-
does. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you never use them again. And,
I'll totally watch this and reuse it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was a blast. I do love all the Christmas festivities that they get up going, and I feel like today's day and age, there's so much more than once upon a time when I was growing
Yeah.
up. I mean, Candy Cane Lane was probably
Yeah.
the biggest highlight
Probably,
of
yeah, for sure, for sure.
winter.
Same for us.
Yeah.
even. But I think it's just the ability to promote it via the internet is probably really the catalyst for that, right?
Get on out to Casserole Raceway.
Oh yeah, I went and did that a few years ago.
I
It
did
was-
it
It wasn't too bad. It was
2
kind
years
of cool.
ago?
Yeah, yeah.
It was.
They do some good stuff.
It was
Like,
wanting.
Yeah.
people. What's that?
It was wanting.
What like?
They needed more decorations.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They, I don't know, but it's impressive if you've ever hung up Christmas lights, which I've
Yeah.
done like once, but you're like, oh, this actually takes a lot of effort. So, my favorite about Candy Cane Lane, there's one house that always does it, as far as I know. Maybe they don't live there anymore, but they always do. So they do like the classic where it's like 5 bulbs hung up, then just the ball hanging there, and then
Yeah.
it's 3 snowmen sitting in the yard, like sitting on their lawn chairs, and they're
Yeah.
holding a sign that says "Worst parade ever." I like that. That would be my style if I lived
Yeah.
in Candy Cane Lane. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Sorry, you were saying? I cut you off.
Oh, I'm not even sure where I was going
okay.
with it.
Anyways, yeah, yeah. They did. I did Victoria Oval a couple of years ago, which was sort of Christmassy, like the skating oval down on River Valley Road.
Oh, okay.
And then they actually have a path that goes like through the trees. It's kind of cool, kind of nice. And there's all these lights
Yeah.
and stuff. But then there was the one time we went was a year where it got really hot and then cold again.
Yeah.
So the path through the trees was just so treacherous because the ice was just
Oh.
like this and gouges and stuff. So, but
Is that the skating path?
yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try that. I thought
Yeah.
it'd be kind of cool, but also kind of dangerous at the same time. just
Yeah.
for that exact
It's-
reason.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they do a pretty good job. It's kind of a cool little thing, and I don't know,
Yeah.
it's kind of cutesy and good date thing or whatever
Yeah.
to do, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Cuffing season.
Yeah, exactly. So Josh and I stay home all the time this time of year, but
Are you a big fan of Christmas, or is it?
yeah, is it like a big deal?
You know what? Christmas is an interesting one for me. Just with my family experience. My parents split up when I was about 16, and it was like right at Christmas time.
Oh no.
So it's always sort of been like that awkward time. But you know, when I'm around people that enjoy it, I definitely enjoy it. It is fun seeing the lights. I was actually by West Edmonton Mall the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, they decorate, they put up all the lights and
Yeah.
everything, and
Yeah.
because usually if I'm going in that way, I sort of pop in and out, so I'm not driving around, and I do enjoy seeing all the lights, the decorations. I mean, even now I saw at the grocery store at Safeways, they've got like small trees that are real, so you can get those. And I was like, I'm
like little
ones
cool.
that are like,
Nice.
2 feet, and so I appreciate that, and I love the camaraderie of hanging out with friends and
Yeah.
the family time. I'm impartial to the commercialism of it, though. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Sure.
Sort
yeah.
of like I heard a thing on CBC saying the average person's going to spend like $800 this year on
Holy
Christmas,
smokes.
and it's like, yeah, I see how it happens. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
yeah.
buy one thing, you buy 2 things,
Yeah.
all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's go out for dinner and
Yeah.
this and that.
Oh, exactly. I guess, was that a cumulative stat on like the whole season? Like not just presents, I guess, right?
Yeah,
So, okay.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah.
but I mean, if it's an
lot of
average
Yeah.
of $800 just on
Yeah.
presents, that's
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of crap that
Probably don't need.
No,
you probably
no,
don't
yeah.
need.
Yeah, that's it's funny because we were asking some people. Well, we've just been talking about Christmassy stuff on this, and that's kind of been a theme of a lot of people are, and maybe we're just all getting older and more mature.
Yeah.
But people are like, I don't really want a lot. I don't ask for a lot for
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of just like, we're adults. If you
Yeah.
need something, you go buy it, right?
Yeah.
And then Christmas,
Yeah.
it's kind of more like spending time with whoever, right? So yeah.
Well, and I'm loving hearing the stories of friends and people with kids sharing their Santa Claus stories about Santa's not real and not realizing that they don't know. And I've heard a couple of those
Oh, really?
this season, and it just
You
makes
would,
me laugh.
hey?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah,
Holy
where
smokes.
like someone says it, like someone's kid tells the other person's kid, sort of thing.
Well,
or
that, but just like parents talking to kids about Santa, or just like being in the school, you got to be really careful because
right,
Yeah, no doubt.
one kid will know, and then the next one doesn't, and they're like, Santa's not real, and you're like, no, Santa's real, Santa's real. Trying to let them naturally
Let the
find
natural
out,
course.
as
the natural
opposed
way.
to, the one kid that's even when I taught grade 1 and 2, there'd be 1 or 2 kids that would know that Santa's not real, and they would just make it their mission to go and tell the rest of the class, Santa's not real, Go over to the next kid, hey.
Hey,
know
guess what?
something?
I heard.
Then you have to do damage control.
I heard like a comedy bit, and it's like you never want your kid to be the first one, but you
Yeah.
never want your kid to be the last one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need to be somewhere in the middle, maybe the 3rd, 4th, 5th person to
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah, just enough that you're not like crying in class, but you're not like, oh man.
As a parent, I'd be like hoping for that one kid. Like
Yeah,
hopefully he finds out,
That-
and then
Hopefully, that one mean kid who tells everyone does my job for me.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
When I was probably about 11 years old,
yeah,
was my last, I think, year where Santa Claus was real.
Yeah.
And I heard just when I was in bed sleeping, I woke up because I heard everyone running around upstairs, and I kind of thought, should I walk upstairs and go see what's going on? And it was starting to get to the point where I was having my inklings and everything, and then I found out shortly after the news, and
The news.
I was a little bit devastated, I
Yep.
shed a tear for my childhood, but
that's
I still had a sister, so she was 4 years younger, so we had to keep up the
keep up
facade.
the-
and
yeah.
Right.
and it was just, I always wonder for kids today, especially with the internet and everything else, like how do they, like, do they ever Google, is Santa Claus real? Is the Easter Bunny real?
Yeah,
Because
that's a good point.
we didn't have that technology to be like, by the time I found out, if it wasn't word of mouth from a friend, you didn't know.
Yeah,
So-
naturally. Yeah,
You didn't have the technology to look it up.
yeah, that's a very good point because and as you say that, I remember having my inklings, but I didn't
Yeah.
really want to fully
Yeah.
admit it, sort of thing. But I guess, and then with like memes and the internet and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, whatever else the kids these days do, like how much does that infiltrate? How much can you keep up the facade, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, because I had 2 younger sisters, so we had to. One was only a year younger than me, so we were close
Yeah.
enough that it was kind of all at the same time. But one was 6 years younger, and we definitely had to be like, oh, Jill, Santa came last night or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember one time, we were in Jasper for Easter, like the Easter long weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 hotel rooms because
Yeah.
decently big enough family or whatever. But
Yeah.
anyways, so my my dad like goes over to the other room, and then it's Easter Sunday morning or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's no Easter candy. So my little sister's in hysterics. And I was maybe like 13ish or
Yeah.
so. She was pretty little. So my dad runs into the room and he's like, crap, like I didn't put out the Easter candy last night. Your mom's going to kill me. And then he's like putting together these baskets in our room, and he's like, all right, act like these were here all morning.
My brother was I think I told the story already, but my brother was a forensic scientist, and he's like, Santa's writing looks like Mom's writing.
That's a smart kid.
Yeah.
That's when you got to do it left and right-handed. If you're a
Yeah,
parent, you got to
there you
write
go.
with your left, even if it's messy and just looks
Yeah.
like complete crap. You just got to do it so that they can't compare.
You just keep one parent.
Or send to that, you know how Canada Post does the like
Yeah.
HOHOHO thing
yeah.
or whatever, and they send you like a typed one.
Yeah.
This is so.
Attach that letter.
Yeah.
Well, even I remember one year I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give Santa cookies. I'm going to make him a salad. I'm going to put veggies out, and I made this big. I'm like, he gets enough cookies. Let's give him something healthy, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Probably
made
sick of all of
this
those.
monster plate of food. Like, it was so massive. And, like, when I look back, it's like, I don't know if my parents dumped half of it, ate half of it, just put it back into containers, put it back in the fridge. But sure enough, when we
wouldn't
came that
notice.
morning, there's crumbs on the plate.
Yeah.
There's a letter from Santa thanking me for the fresh
Salad.
vegetables and the salad, and the meat and cheese platter that I brought.
Charcuterie board.
Yeah, that would have been his favorite. These guys are fancy. Oh man,
This guy's fancy.
Yeah.
that's funny. That's funny.
So funny.
Shit. That reminded me of a story, but I kind of lost it.
Oh.
I
That's
was
like our
just thinking-
comedian at our event that forgot half of his. You missed the comedy event, did you?
Yeah, I came right after.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was doing. I think maybe I was playing hockey or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Trying to get a little bit of exercise. As
Yeah.
I just said before, I don't go to the gym, so if I'm not playing hockey, I'm not doing much.
Yeah.
And so I figured I better go skate before I come and
Absolutely.
have a few
Fair
pops.
But
Fair
there
enough.
was this one comedian who did a bit where, and looking at it, I think he did it on purpose, or he maybe did it the first time, actually forgot his bit, and then remembered it.
Yeah.
And then it did really well. So he,
A little top up here.
yep. Here,
Thank you.
Yeah.
a little easier for you.
Yeah,
Anyway, so he's like in the middle of the joke, and he's like, he had a really. I can't duplicate it. Well, we should get him on, Leo. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's
but,
super funny. But he was just like,
the cadence to he talks, and he's telling a joke. He's like, and I forget the rest of the joke, and then he's talking later, and then he's like, he like kind of says a punchline. He's like, also, I remember that joke I was telling earlier, and goes into it, and like just the way he does it is so. Oh, it was really good.
it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It turned out really good actually. I was pretty happy, and the
Yeah.
comedians were really good, and they were
Yeah.
happy about it. So
Speaking of comedy, on the 18th, they're doing like a Christmas party
Okay.
for.
That's a Wednesday.
It is
Yeah.
a Wednesday,
a good
and
day.
yeah, it's a good day to do comedy.
Yeah.
They're doing it out of Station on
Station.
Jasper.
Oh, I really enjoy that
Yeah,
place.
yeah. So if
it's
you
a
want
nice
to,
Yeah.
venue. It's and then I don't know if you, I mean you probably have. So it's supposed to be kind of a Christmas party for people who maybe don't have Christmas parties, right?
Yeah.
So that's
I'll be
that's
there.
their
Okay.
thing. Yeah, you're going to that? I meant to. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I need
I'll
to
be
ask
there.
you about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So open invite. This will
Yeah,
air
thank you.
after that, but I
Yeah.
guess we're
Exactly.
sort of telling people about
Well,
it.
if you made it there, I hope you had a really great time. I know I did, and
I was totally there.
it was a fun time. I can attest to it.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. I was just thinking of the salad for Santa thing.
Oh,
That's
Santa must have
spectacular.
been
Put
really happy.
Santa.
Can't remember if I
Yeah.
put the dressing on or put it on the side, but can you
Sitting
go
there.
to sleep, Kieran, so that we can eat this salad before it goes,
It goes
soggy?
bad. God
What do you
damn.
mean? That's for Santa. Oh,
I remember because we actually, my family, we always decorate the tree as a family. Even now that we're older and moved out, we still like make a date or whatever. Yeah. But we would always, my mom always said, because the kids, like as kids, we were really insistent on all wanting to decorate it.
Yeah.
But then when we were little, she would have to wait till the next day because all the decorations were like this high, and the top half of the tree was just empty. So she would have to wait for us to go to school, and then she would rearrange, and we'd be none the wiser because, oh no, as a kid, you're not always the most observant of those things, I guess, right? So,
no,
yeah,
I don't think so. As soon as the decorations go up, and you're like, that looks good, and
yeah, Christmas,
out of sight, out of mind, and
yeah. You're not like, hey, wait a minute, I put that nutcracker ornament on this branch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, forgetting Christmas, what's 2020 hold for you?
You know what? 2020 is going to be an interesting year.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, I'm looking at some school options.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go back to school, do my master's.
Oh wow!
Really?
Good for you,
Yeah.
man. Awesome.
I think it's the time and the place.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to go back. The program I wanted to apply to, the deadline was December 1st, and I missed that. So what I'm going to look to do is take a couple courses if I can.
Yep.
That'll go towards that, and then I'm going to start looking at taking my master's basically the following year. I've talked to a couple people that have suggested leadership roles, so to become an administrator in a school.
Yeah.
So between that, or I'm looking at like educational psychology.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to get that at least organized enough that I can get registered, enrolled. I need to get my transcripts, which is kind of a pain because you got to go down to the registrar at the U of A and go into the office and get that all set up. So hopefully during the Christmas break I can do that. And then just a little bit of a change in my job. So they did some restructuring of my program. So we're no longer at the downtown community arena.
Yeah.
And just due to like safety concerns, I mean,
Lots of pucks.
lots of pucks were flying around there. We had to watch out for them as we were in the bleachers, and no, it was just a lot to do with the homeless community there, and
Right. Sure.
and some of the things that they
Kind
brought
of
with them.
understandable. Yeah, for sure.
Even times when I'd be kind of guiding my kids to different tables because of the drug kits that were directly behind me that I had to kind of hide, and
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
and so so stuff like that. So what they were going to do is put me into another program, but it's not looking great right now with our new government. Some cutbacks are starting to roll in, and good thing now is I've got my contract, so I'll have a teaching job no matter what. It just depends kind of where it'll be. So on that side of things, I'm not sure where I'll be, but I think really the focus right now is just to get my schooling going, because with more education, it'll just give me more opportunities. So that's something I really want to focus on.
Awesome.
And I'm just excited because I love school and going and sitting in class. I'm even like, would it be the worst thing in the world to actually take a year off and actually be in a student full time?
Yeah.
So I've thought about those things.
Wow.
Outside of that, I'm not sure. And then I've been to 5 continents.
Yep.
The last real continent that I'll actually get to visit where I can explore is Africa. And
You're not going to Antarctica?
I was real close this summer, and I debated taking a boat or a plane just to be like, I made it there.
I touched
get
all
there.
7.
Tag.
Yeah. So we'll see. I might go fly over, see if I can get a selfie with a polar bear. Because the selfie I tried to take with the fox this summer, well, fox didn't like it. He bit me. I was out in the middle of this desert.
Yeah.
I was lucky. He bit my boot, so
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about rabies or anything. 'Cause he
Say
didn't bite
no
through.
rabies shot?
And I didn't have the rabies shot, so
Yeah.
I would have been up shit creek.
He's foaming at the mouth right now.
Yeah. For those on the audio version, yeah.
But I'd like to see if I can get to Africa
Nice.
in the summer. I don't know for
that'd be
sure
cool.
yet, but
Yeah.
if I could, it'd be the last
Yeah,
continent. I
absolutely.
think I'll
Wow.
visit. So
Yeah, definitely.
those are the plans right
Nice.
now.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
Would that be a master's of education or
Yeah,
a little?
I think it's a master's in educational psychology
Okay.
or in psychology. I'm not sure exactly what it. I mean, I've looked at 100 different programs, and when you look at the programs, you go from like if you want psychology, for example, there's 10 different
kind of tailored,
streams.
or
So there's in-school counseling psychology that I've looked at that would kind of keep me in the schools, because I think I'd like to be in the schools, but with the option, if I were to do it, to have a private practice in case I decide I don't want to be in the education system anymore.
Sure. Yeah.
And then if not, I'd like to go to administration, where I could just move up the ranks, so to speak, in a high school, junior high, elementary, whatever, and just take on a bigger role. Definitely have a lot to learn, though. I'm by no stretch of the way a master in teaching yet. I think I have a lot of curriculum development that I need to learn, but as I've worked now towards years in my contract, I can start to apply to different things and start looking at different options. So
Cool.
Yeah, my 2020 is kind of looking like that, and it's crazy to think it's 2020 when I think back, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I turned 18 in 2003, and it's like feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, it's 2020.
Yeah. You know, I actually was saying this because you ever see those memes where it's like, when people say 10 years ago, I think of 1990 or whatever. And for me, when someone says 10 years ago, I think early 2000s sort of thing.
Yeah.
But no, that's, 20 years ago. Now it's like, damn. Like,
it is kind of crazy.
When you hear the number 2010 or 2011, well, that was the start of a decade.
Yeah.
But those seem recent to me in many ways.
I mean, we graduated in 2011.
2011,
right?
yeah.
So
I gragraduated university in 2010.
Nice.
Which is
so
I
even so
or even when because I enjoy the Marvel movies, and when I think about all the new Avengers, and I'm the other day I'm looking through, and it's like Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers this, Avengers that, and I'm like 2011 2012 one of the first Avengers came out.
I think that was
exactly.
the first one. Yeah.
The first Iron Man's from like 07 or something. I want to say,
or something.
And you're like, holy hell,
like.
But those are like new movies in my head, you know.
And I guess that makes sense why some of these guys are starting to retire from the roles and dying because it's, when does Iron Man ever die?
Yeah,
but all of a sudden he's dead, and we have to keep
Spoiler
going.
alert.
Spoiler alert! Oh, I need to mark this episode. Yeah.
Well, if you haven't seen Infinity War,
Endgame.
Endgame. Well,
I mean, you're a little
You
behind
should've.
the 8 ball now. So.
you should have.
Yeah,
There's your
exactly.
spoiler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sorry.
He dies at the end.
Yeah,
no.
It's heart-wrenching. It's heart-wrenching.
it really. Yeah, they kind of figured out the formula because superhero movies were notoriously bad,
Yep.
historically speaking,
Yep.
until Marvel ones,
Yep.
and they're actually enjoyable movies, right? So.
I like the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. So
But how about with Spider-Man? Not only have they made 23 different editions of Spider-Man,
Different iterations, yeah.
Sony left the MCU and they couldn't find an agreement.
Yeah.
And because of the uproar, they figured out an agreement, and Spider-Man's back in the Marvel universe. I mean, when I heard that, I was like, how are they going to reboot the series? And
yeah.
how
Like
are they
a
going
fifth time or whatever?
They basically groomed that Tom Holland to be Tony Stark's protege, and all of a sudden it's just it's gone.
Yeah.
So I'm happy they figured that out. You'd think with I'm going to give you $510 million instead of $490. No, I think I need $515 million to continue this agreement. It's like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah. Do it for
much
the
money-
sake of the fans
Yeah.
eventually, right?
Yeah,
like,
no kidding.
yeah.
okay, well, Endgame grossed $10 billion, but the Spider-Man, it only grossed like $1 billion. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. No, it's all that kind of stuff is sort of funny, right?
Yeah.
So, or like, what do they think they're gonna do? Because the success of Avengers has been that it's the Avengers, it's a team. You have all this ensemble cast.
Yeah.
They're not gonna there's someone at Sony thinking, no, Spider-Man, we can carry this by ourselves. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So, yeah.
Well, and I've heard from what the next step is, the new Avengers, the new group of characters. I mean, if you've been to the TELUS exhibit, it's one of the coolest things if you enjoy that kind of stuff with Marvel. There's so many fun facts and different storylines. The only one that I did notice really that was apparent is the X-Men universe, how it's not tied to Marvel in the movies, but they're so intertwined in actual Marvel history. But when you look at these new Avengers that are going to be coming up, they've said a lot of them are going to be representing the different diversities of our culture today. So no longer that traditional white male. It's, we're going to have a lot of different ethnicities, and so it's going to be interesting.
Captain America.
Well, now it's I forget
Falcon.
the actor's name. Falcon became that
the new Captain America,
and he's a black guy.
Interesting.
If you're not up to date on that, so.
I'm not.
Yeah. So, but
one of the variations of Miss Marvel is East Indian.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
So there's
Interesting.
I don't know if they'll bring her in, or I don't know what universe it is.
Yeah.
I'm not a complete pro, but
yeah, for sure.
Really?
But in the comic book world, the X-Men and other Marvel characters, Avengers, did cross over a lot, but they keep it very independent movie-wise. But yeah, I don't know.
The X-Men universe is so. If I remember correctly, the X-Men universe is signed on either till 2028 or 2030, and it's vice versa for the Marvel universe for what they're going to continue to, and that's just their contracts. I mean, I would assume by that point they'll probably sign extensions for another 12, 15 years or whatever.
For sure.
but
Yeah.
They've had so much success with the X-Men universe, and there is so many characters in that universe. I think they should be okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's interesting though, because these guys are all the staple characters, if you will.
Yeah.
But they've kind of used them up,
Yeah.
if you will. So
Yeah,
now
yeah.
you're kind of entering uncharted waters where you have to go kind of deeper into the fandom, or you're kind of starting a new series, if you will, right? So
Well, it's almost kind of like Star Wars too. It's like where they're going to go into different characters. And,
exactly. So
Solo was the first one, and haven't seen it, but
Baby Yoda apparently
Yeah.
is.
Baby Yoda's a big deal.
yeah.
So
Apparently, The Mandalorian's amazing.
it's actually quite a good show.
Yeah.
Granted, so first episode was really good. Some of the middle ones were, episode 6 just became available last night. Do you watch that? Are you a Star Wars guy?
Not like no.
No, okay, not into it.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
it's actually a very good, well done TV show, and it's very good for a Star Wars show. And I would even venture to say, if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, it's probably still watchable,
Still
it's
good,
still
yeah.
palatable.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You don't need like super nerdy fan knowledge or whatever, but at the same time, some of the episodes have been good, but a touch uneventful, because the episodes are more like 40 minutes or so, if not like it needs the story arc of an episode. They're too short sometimes. It leaves something to be desired, sort of thing. Right?
Okay, gotcha.
But granted, Bill Burr was in the one last night.
Really?
Yeah, the comedian. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Vaguely.
yeah. But he was in it, and he I saw all these memes about it because they're saying he stole the show because he was actually really good in it. Because everyone's about the main character Mandalorian, which is Pedro Pascal. If you know who that guy is, you'd recognize him.
Sure.
But and then Baby Yoda obviously is what
Baby
everyone's
Yoda,
all about.
yeah.
But
That's the only thing that I've been seeing. Yeah.
Bill Burr took the stage last night for sure. Oh, no, Mandalorian.
The meme still has to be like the one where it's like mature Yoda on the ID, and it's the baby Yoda, and it's like me while I'm 18 trying to get into the club or something.
Me underage trying to use ID, something like that. Yeah, those are pretty funny.
Yeah. The internet, I love it.
Oh, love it.
Actually, one thing that I watched one episode, and I kind of want to watch more, but I was like, I watched The Toys That Made Us, and I saw an episode of the Ninja Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the creators and how they kind of got started, and how the toy brand name took off, and it was just, it was completely crazy to see these two guys basically worked out of their home, created this comic that was, I would say, like a graphic novel, almost comic, and how it got revamped into a kid's show, but how they continue to build the brand and recreate it so that as an adult, I'm watching it and I'm taking my kids and introducing it, and how they're keeping the cycle going. But one of the craziest things is nobody would touch the toy line except for this doll company out of, I want to say, Japan. And they're like, yeah, sure, we'll kind of give it a shot. And they used to make, like, not Barbie dolls, but like Playmobil dolls. And
Yeah.
And they took a chance on. I mean, they skyrocketed to,
Yeah. Huh.
to fame and fortune, and how it created all these different ideas of groups of characters, and then it talked about. So I don't know if you remember. I vaguely remember when I saw it, but they did introduce a female Ninja Turtles,
Really?
and then it.
I
lasted-
don't remember that.
No.
Yeah, it was like.
Was that in the cartoon or
I
in
want to
the?
say in the movie they wanted someone to connect to the female audience.
Yeah.
and
Well,
then
there is that girl in the I don't know. There was always the movie on the Family Channel or something. Do you remember that?
Like the live action one, but the
Yeah.
first time around.
Yeah, like the first time around, where it's like pretty bad, but it's
Kinda
it's-
good.
It's still kind of good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There's like the woman in it who's
Well, like the character that
April?
became
yeah April.
Megan
Yeah.
Megan Fox's character who like raised them or whatever. But no, I think more like an active action.
I haven't
hero
seen
figure.
the new one.
The Michael Bay ones. They're
I haven't. I don't know if not the most recent.
No,
ones.
no, me neither.
they're bad but good
Yeah.
in like a Transformers way,
Yeah.
where it's a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
It's like nostalgic kids toys, but
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Speaking of Michael Bay, there's actually a new. I had no idea it came out, but it just came out. It's called Six Underground,
'Kay.
and it's a Michael Bay movie. It's a Netflix original, and they're about these guys who like kind of become vigilantes or whatever, but not in a superhero way, in like a Black Ops, Ghost Ops vigilante way. And Ryan Reynolds is the guy. It's actually super good, and it's a Michael Bay movie in that it has like good old lens glare or lens
Yeah.
flare,
Yeah.
and then also there's like all these weird. He has this like signature explosion that kind of looks like a fireworks coming across because they're very projectile.
I know what you're talking
And
about.
like
Yeah.
it makes
I know
no
what you're
sense
talking
because a car will be coming this way and explode, and these fireworks cut across the screen this way, and you're like, this isn't how trajectory works.
Oh.
but it's just how he does his movies. But
Oh,
it's very good. I would recommend.
I do love a good Michael Bay movie that makes absolutely no sense when they're like, it's midnight 1 minute, and then literally the next minute it's broad daylight, and three characters are just gone because it just doesn't work for the story to continue. But there's some great action scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one actually, for a Michael Bay movie, I'm like, this is gonna be bad but exciting. But the plot's actually pretty satisfying.
I'm so like
he's
bad
been
with TV shows.
writing down TV
I've been
shows all
writing
day
down
that
suggestions.
people have
Get a
brought up.
collection of 'em.
So
I have Peaky Blinders,
Oh,
The
yeah.
Irishman, Shameless, and now Vigilantes.
it's called Six Underground. Like
Not
the
Vigi-
number 6
Oh,
and the
six
word underground.
So it's not called Vigilantes.
No, they are vigilantes.
I heard Vigilantes and I wrote down Vigilantes, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah. There's a few to check out. Shameless is an interesting one that I couldn't get into. I watched
Yeah.
a few episodes. Something about just like a constant train wreck. Just
Yeah, fair enough.
That's true. That's true. It is like, yeah, I watched it. There's a lot of shows I say I watch by proximity because either I have a roommate who watches it all the
Yeah.
time, or like my ex-girlfriend watched Shameless all the time.
Yeah,
So I would kind of,
that's what it was.
I
for
would
me.
kind of catch every like 8th episode, so I
Yeah.
kind of got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Right. And like, it's just kind of they call it I believe the term is black comedy, but in that it's like a dark sense of humor,
Sure.
right? And kind of like the perverse irony of the universe because they're very, very poor working class people, but like it's funny, but also kind of like sad at the same time. I don't know. It's there's parts of it that are kind of whatever, but it's an interesting show. Like it's well
Yeah.
done. But,
Yeah. Oh, for sure it
yeah,
is.
yeah, for sure.
I'll
But
give it
yeah.
a shot.
Yeah.
The last full series I ever watched,
Entourage.
Mad Men.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
nice. I've never watched that actually.
Yeah. I never got into that one
Really?
either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would recommend. I like it. It's a good one.
Yeah, maybe I should give that a try. I, don't know.
I think it's only 7 seasons, bro.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's the thing.
it's only
yeah,
like
that's a
10
big
days of
investment.
your life if you
with
want to
like
watch
hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
It's like an HBO series, so there's no commercials.
Yeah.
Basically, you start at 8 in the morning,
There you
get
go.
a coffee, and
Yeah.
you start there, and by 5 o'clock, you're done your shift, and
Yeah.
that's the first season.
That's
It's
the
a
first
full
season.
day work.
it. There you
yeah.
go. Exactly.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
only
exactly.
13 episodes a season, I think. So
Oh, okay.
they're all an hour long. So
That's putting in
Yeah.
overtime. I think I might have to break that into 2 days.
yeah,
That's a heavy workload.
that is a pretty heavy workload.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh man. Peaky Blinders though, that's good. Have you seen
Yeah.
that?
I've just watched a little bit of it. Actually, I have a friend in TV, but he works in China.
Really?
And he's in
Really?
and
Interesting.
The irony in it, he's the bad guy always, as a white guy in China. He's the
Oh,
bad
he's
guy.
an actor.
Yeah, he's an actor.
Oh,
Okay.
And actually
Interesting.
did a show maybe a year ago with Jackie Chan, and that was probably the first time I'm like, can you get me an autograph, please?
Jackie Chan
Of
still
That's
Jackie
doing
really
Chan.
stuff?
cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
He did stuff recently.
yeah, he's
Or
like
a couple of years ago. But.
He's like, no. He's like, it's pretty hard. And so I was like, okay. I'm like, fair enough. But he recommended that show and knows some people in it. So I kind of checked it
Really?
out. And I haven't got into the series yet. Actually, one that just came on that I started watching was that V Wars or Vampire Wars or V Wars
no
on
idea.
net. And
No idea.
I put it on, watched the first one, and was kind of like, watched, I think, the next 3, but just in the background as I was doing stuff. And I mean, I haven't turned it back on yet,
Yeah.
but it's got some promise if you like the vampire genre show. It's
I know somebody that died.
So Josh does well in that category. So,
I'm
of
referring to
fans. Yes.
Katie
I know.
from-
It would have been funnier if we left it at just that. So.
Sorry, inside joke.
I was gonna say, going back. So there's the toys that made us,
Yeah.
and then there's the movies that made us.
yeah, I haven't watched that one yet.
I've only watched one. I watched the one they did one about Die Hard, and it was actually it's very well because I love that movie. That's such a
Yeah,
good movie,
that's a
and
classic.
it's really interesting about the making of it and how because it was actually it's so interesting because it's actually so it's loosely based on a book.
Okay.
Like called Tomorrow Never Comes or something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
But so the book is actually a sequel to another book that was made into a movie that Frank Sinatra starred in. And then, so
What?
this was Die Hard was kind of a spiritual successor to that movie in a way, like 20 some odd years later when
Yeah.
they finally got greenlit to make it, and they're like, well, Sinatra's way too old now.
Yeah.
Right? This is so. And then, because Bruce Willis, that was his first movie, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of
Yeah.
people know, but he was actually a TV star. But
Still had
in-
hair then.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
but TV
Hey.
star, and he was in like but like in like comedy, like
Yeah.
sort of a daytime comedy show.
Gotcha.
So people were confused because they're like, well, he's supposed to be this cool action. Like that was right in the era of where all the action heroes were super buff, like Schwarzenegger and friends.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Willis was
Stallone.
like, yeah, Stallone, but like
Yeah.
Bruce Willis was like fit, but not like super jacked, and
Yeah.
like so for the time people couldn't get around it. I don't know. It's. I think I'll watch it again. That was the one movie on it that the movie I knew the best, but
Yeah.
the way they kind of tell you the history of it, it was super interesting, right?
Yeah.
So
What other movies are on there?
I can't even remember.
No.
Yeah,
Is this a Netflix series?
Netflix
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
There's only
Yeah.
like 4 or 5
Okay.
episodes.
Yeah,
I'll watch
same
it.
with the toys that made us.
Yeah.
There's only a handful, and it's
Yeah.
like
Well, TMNT is huge.
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 Huge,
That's an
like-
understatement. But
And it like, and what they show in the episode is how close it didn't happen. Like how close it was
Yeah.
to not happening, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like they got an agent, basically a run of the mill agent that wasn't really an agent, but he was an agent, and he had to go like rent a nice suit, and he went to all these business execs and was like, I've got this, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, no, this is not going to work, this is not going to pan out, and it's like, you look at what it is, and you're like,
yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that's
Never give up.
Yeah,
never give up.
exactly,
Well,
exactly.
There
It
you go.
really is.
Because it's a Hasbro thing, isn't it now?
It might be now,
Maybe
but
it's
they.
Mattel. I don't know. I'm
it's-
just
no,
saying
it
big
was,
toy
No,
company.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was a thing. Hasbro,
Yeah,
Mattel, all those companies. I'm going to look it up right now.
absolutely.
They-
He's looking up the movies
Yeah,
that made us.
because there's only one season of the movies that made us, but there's a few of the toys that made us, and toys is like Lego, TMNT,
Yeah.
Transformers, etc. But the movies are it's Dirty Dancing, Home Alone, Ghostbusters, and then Die Hard. So
Well, that's 2 Christmas movies in one season. Wow.
wow,
You know what? I always love one of my favorite Family Guy episodes
Yeah.
was the spoof when they were watching Home Alone, and they're like
Realistic Home
the
Alone.
realistic Home
Yeah.
Alone.
And they just shoot him. Yeah. If they were real bad guys.
Oh, the door's hot. Maybe I just won't hang on to the handle.
Hey, and watch out, those stairs are icy.
I remember that one.
Shoots Kevin McAllister.
Yeah.
Well, no witnesses as he tumbles down the stairs.
Yeah, that was a good one. 'Cause, yeah.
We were actually just talking about Seth MacFarlane too.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane. And we were talking about Joe Pesci the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Because if you think about it, to my knowledge, I don't think Joe Pesci did other comedies up to that point. So he's kind of like this mafia tough guy, and then he's like just like goofy, bumbling, wannabe home burglar, right? So
he. Well, what was I watching? The Office, and if you've seen the new Hobbs and Shaw, I don't know that actor's name, but the black guy that's the bad guy that's in the movie that's super enhanced and everything. And
is it Erdis Elba? Because he was in.
He's been in a few movies as like the main bad guy. And
yeah.
I was watching The Office, and he comes in as the stern, like nonsense boss that Michael ends up quitting over.
Yeah,
another spoiler.
I'm pretty sure that or really.
And that was like his first sort of like public TV where you're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Idris Elba is his name. So
Guy is
but
definitely a bad guy for sure.
But he was supposed to be up to be Bond next. Is
Yes,
what I said.
I know.
Read a few years ago, but I don't know if that's happening. So
Craig has one more movie, right?
I think I heard that, but he's kind of old. Like
He's
not
also
only
like, I'm
is
so done with this.
Not only is the character old, he is physically quite old. So it's not super believable anymore, right?
That's true.
But
Yeah.
You know,
I actually was like, that's a movie series that I sometimes I'll watch like the movies from like the 60s.
I like the old ones.
Yeah, the old ones are great.
Yeah.
So it's a company, Playmates.
Oh,
toys.
Okay.
So Hasbro, all those guys were offered the job, and they all said no. And Playmates was like not even in that toy line. And they're like, we'll take it. And
Okay.
they literally skyrocketed past all the Hasbros and everyone else. And it's
What are the toys that made us? Because I'm actually probably Barbie.
Barbie, He-Man.
Yeah.
I actually just
you have it?
Barbie, He-Man,
Yeah.
Power Rangers, TMNT.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I saw Lego and Transformers on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Those
My-
ones are
My
probably
Little
easier
Pony.
to guess. Yeah.
Star Trek, Hello Kitty, G.I. Joe,
Nice.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Nice.
which is
Yeah.
Somebody asked me what I did, and I said importing illegal Hello Kitty paraphernalia.
Unlicensed.
Unlicensed Hello
Hello
Kitty
Kitty.
paraphernalia. I think that's still a thing. I don't know.
Oh, they have little Hello Kitty shops in the airports and in certain airports, that, just like the Best Buy stands that are like the vending machines where you get your headphones. They have Hello Kitty ones.
Oh my goodness.
Where you can just get everything Hello Kitty, and every time I see one, I'm like, huh.
Hasn't crossed my mind yet.
I actually
but
was it a TV show or movie ever, or was it just solely based on a toy?
good question.
I actually don't know
That is
that.
a great question. I
Yeah.
feel like some Japanese creator just created Hello Kitty, and it just.
Have you ever been to Japan?
I've been to Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, to Nagano, and
Nice.
spent some time there when I was in a competition, and
Yeah.
it's an interesting place in Nagano, especially. There's not a lot of English speakers in Japan, not compared to most tourist destinations. And
Yeah.
I remember one guy comes up to us and goes, "Hello, how are you?" And we were so excited. We were like, "Hey," we were like, "Good, how are you?" No, sorry, no.
No, that's all they know.
That's
Hey?
Three words.
He goes, yeah, he wanted, and that's the thing is like in Japan, and from the stories I've heard, it's like when you go into deep China, into deep Japan, like if you're not Japanese, Chinese, you'll have people coming up to you taking pictures. You'll feel like a big time celebrity because you're white or just not Asian.
Yeah.
And same thing. And when I was in the Philippines on some of those islands, driving around on scooters, I mean, kids would be running out from their homes, screaming, shouting, waving, because they had never seen somebody that wasn't Filipino.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And it's pretty cool when you can go to a place like that because you kind of forget that the whole world doesn't revolve around
North
Fair.
America.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
Very-
asking because apparently there's like a video game in Japan where it's like a table flip. So you're like the whole game is you're sitting at dinner with your family, and you're supposed to flip this table as hard as you possibly can to get points. Phenomenal.
That's great. Yeah, it seems like a really interesting place. Well, if Spencer was here, he could tell us about it. He's
Yeah,
going there
if
soon.
Spencer was
Frickin'
here.
Spencer, goddamn.
Yeah.
This is your call out, Spencer.
Yeah.
Spencer,
Wow. Oh,
Paulus,
he's
could you
gotten-
report
He's
to the
gotten
principal's
call-outs
office?
all day. He's gotten call-outs all day.
Oh yeah,
Bailed
he's-
on us for this.
Yeah,
For today.
yeah. I don't know. To go
So
out last night. Tisk tisk.
Tisk.
We'll be sending the automated call home saying that he missed one block or more today, and
Do they still do that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
in
Is it
high
an
school,
Isn't it
online-
all like online?
because
That's
like
what I heard.
like in the program I was in, there's no call outs. Basically, with my school phone, you'd get a text from me saying, "Hey, is little Billy coming to join us today?" Because I didn't know how to like do it delicately, and I didn't
Yeah.
want to be abrupt with just being like, "Where's your kid?"
Yeah.
Like, we're sending a bus right to your door, so why aren't they on the bus?
Yeah.
And so I'd always just try to delicately be like, "Hey, is so and so joining us?" Because sometimes they do come late or whatever. Whatever, you miss
Yeah.
the bus, like not a big deal, and
Or
parents
there's
will drop
traffic
them off
or
Yeah.
whatever. Well,
Yeah.
no, because so with this program, the bus goes to their
To
front
them.
door,
Yeah.
Yeah.
picks them up, and then but they literally wait because of the timelines. They'll wait their 2 minutes from the expected pickup time. And so if the pickup time's 8:10 and they get there at 8:05, they'll wait till 12 after. So it's not like they only wait 2 minutes from when they arrive.
Yeah.
They'll wait 2 minutes past there, and they have to do that to keep their pace.
For
Otherwise,
everyone
they're
else.
going to be late.
Yeah.
And so I always wonder, like, if the bus is there, and I've heard stories of like the bus driver honking horns and whatever, phoning them, and I'm like, and then I'll send a message like, "Is so and so coming?" And it's like, "Oh no, we missed the bus." And it's like, "Did you though?" So yeah, I know we did that, and I laugh at it just because I'll send those messages, and I'm like, I just don't want to offend them or anything, and I'm
Sure.
like, "Hey, like, are you gonna drop your kid off at school today, or are they just having a day?" Or,
Yeah.
and it's actually pretty good. I got a lot of pretty candid responses from the parents, so that was nice. At least I knew where they were, because you're
Yeah.
looking after them. But
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
high school days where you just, as a teacher, I just hit submit with my attendance, and I don't know the roll call how that works, but it's
It's all out of my hands. then.
all out of my hands,
Yeah.
goes right down.
You're a
the
child. Josh Blaze was absent from social studies today. Yeah, so you're like rushing home, like sprinting to because you all had landlines. Even we were
That's
old enough
right.
that we had
The
landlines. So you're
landlines.
like
You guys
shit.
office. You gotta get home before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't work for me. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, so
No.
she'd be
Yeah,
home.
my mom was too, so
Yeah,
I couldn't get away with anything.
no.
So
Actually, I remember when I used to have a massive afro when I was in grade 10.
Yeah.
nice.
And I eventually shaved it off.
'Kay.
I was like, okay, time to just, grow up, whatever. And for the first couple days, my mom would be like, did you skip class today? And I'd be like, no, I was there. She'd be like, well, we got like the call coming through. And I'm like, huh. So I go in the next day, and I don't know if you guys remember Mr. Cheyenne.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my grade 10 science teacher as
Oh
well.
yeah. Oh no way.
I was like, hey, I keep getting calls. I go up to him. I'm like, I keep getting calls saying I'm not present at school. And he looks at me and he's like, you can tell he's just trying to process, like, who is this kid?
The windows, the Windows shutdown sound just
And it
goes
was-
on.
Honestly, like, because I look so different with my shaved head,
Yeah.
they kept putting me in as absent because they weren't recognizing that it was me, because I cut my, and I mean, it was a pretty
Yeah.
drastic change, but
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That
pretty
was
funny.
That was like me when I cut my hair,
Yeah.
because I had super long
Did
hair.
you
and
ever
then
see this guy with long hair?
I had really long curly hair. Like
Like
you would have,
shoulder length
Yeah.
or
if you
longer.
saw me around, you maybe didn't process that
Yeah.
was me.
Well,
Anyways,
yeah, I would have
but-
marked you
yeah,
absent.
yeah. So, but when I cut it, because I cut it over the exam break one time.
Yeah.
So I came back. So I was like just the talk of the school for a while. And then like I went up to like friends of mine who I'd known since I was a little kid, and they didn't even recognize me. And so I don't think I ever got marked absent. But
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's actually so funny.
Well, I believe we're at time because you have
Yep.
Josh has a blue plate special dinner he has to go
With the grandma at the old folks home.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm heading to dinner tonight as well with my dad and
Nice.
family for a nice little Christmas dinner.
Oh, there you go.
so-
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for stopping by.
Hey.
We appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Merry
It was fun.
January, the whatever this comes
Whenever
out.
this comes out, we'll let you know.
and like the 18th, that party was just tremendous.
It was
I
amazing.
can't talk about how good it was
Yeah.
if you weren't there.
Yeah, you missed
How
out.
dare you?
Alrighty.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks to our listeners who watched every single episode of the 12 podcasts of Christmas.
Yes,
We will see you next year.
you will.